Well, good morning. How are you all today? Welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith, and a special welcome to all the new subscribers we've had. We've just had a mess of new people joining recently, both here and on the Patreon channel. If you're not with us on Patreon, I wish you'd come over. You get a lot more over there, and the link's down below. I want to talk today about killing through starvation. We know that there has been a lot happening in the world that leads us to the conclusion, the obvious, the reasonable conclusion, that our food supply is under attack. Okay, we've had remember the 18,000 cows that burned to death down in Texas? Do you remember all of the food processing plants that have burned or exploded? We know that that's not normal. Remember all the thousands of cattle that died in Kansas? Was it last year? I live in Kansas. It's always hot in Kansas in the summertime. You don't want to be in western Kansas in the summertime, you know. Cows survive. They don't die by the thousands, you know. We've had many. We've seen the food shortages. And different excuses were given for that. We now have a situation that, and I've put it up on Patreon, two articles that I want to mention, because I think you need to take the idea of a possible organized effort by you know who to starve populations, entire populations, not just American, but some of you all in other countries as well. One of the stories was out of Ireland. They are going to destroy 200,000 dairy cows. 65,000 a year for 3 years. Plus, you know, the extra 5,000. Why? Because it's contributing to greenhouse gases. Apparently, cows burping and farting is destroying the world. And so they're going to follow along like the good little socialists. That's so sad. I mean, I love Ireland. You've heard me. I used to lecture. I've lectured about the Irish history. The history of Ireland. I'm part Irish. I have friends in Ireland. I love it. But they have succumbed to this socialism that is destroying their country. It's a beautiful country. It's been being destroyed for 800 years, and they fought against it for 800 years, and now that they won that war, now they're destroying themselves. Sad. The other one is about John Kerry, if you remember him, that Rush used to remind us who was in Vietnam. He tried to make so much hay out of that. What a loser. He was, wasn't he Secretary of State under Obama? The guy's a loser. He married the Heinz heiress, and so he was rich, and he's one of these Massachusetts, Boston patricians that, you know, he thinks he's very smart, and he tries to sound smart, and he talks like this, you know. Well, he was at some summit. I've also put this on Patreon, the entire article that you can read, and he says that farmers need to stop farming. Farmers need to stop growing food in order for the planet to survive. You need to stop eating meat. You and the farmers need to stop producing food. That does two things, doesn't it? That starves the farmers. There's not that many farmers anymore. It's all corporate farming. But you take care of those last few who are out there trying to provide some food, and on their own, not through a corporation, not through ConAgra and all that. Monsanto, Bill Gates owning all the farmland, remember that? But he says you have to stop growing food. Now, if you don't think that all of these things come together, in a concerted effort to starve the population. Of course, they will give us. They are preparing us to eat those scrumptious insect burgers that they are developing, and the lab-grown meat, the Soylent grain. So they're preparing for that, and I'm sure that they envision a future in which we will just all, line up and open our mouths like baby birds for them to squirt the daily ration of nourishment in down our throats. That's probably what they dream about at night. That's probably what they have certain kinds of dreams about. Well, that's not what we want, right? But if you think that is beyond the pale, and I know most of you don't, I know most of you on this channel believe that is a very believable scenario, because these people are flat out evil. Think about how starvation has been used in the past to control, like Kissinger said, control the food, you control the population, you control the people. Well, it's been used in the past for genocide. I've talked about the Irish famine. It wasn't that there wasn't any food. There was plenty of food. It was being shipped off to England. The Irish were given potatoes to eat that weren't indigenous to Ireland. They came from America. They planted potatoes. They say, you all eat this stuff while you grow the food that we are going to send back to England and to our own tables so that we can eat well and sell and make a profit. 1 million Irish died. A million Irish were killed. Many of them with what they call green mouth, green around their mouths from trying to eat grass, but not being cows. They couldn't process the grass. Didn't matter to the British, to the English. They starved those people because they didn't want them there anyway. The ones that they couldn't ship to Australia in prison ships, and the ones that didn't make it onto coffin ships to America, they were going to starve out in a planned famine, a planned genocidal starvation. Many of you know about the Holodomor, the starvation of Ukraine by Stalin. Many of you are familiar with the Armenian genocide. Now, that wasn't just a starvation. Matter of fact, Holodomor, that means, from what I understand, killing by starvation. Okay. Well, the Armenian genocide wasn't just a starvation, it was a death march into Syria, but it was starvation also. Starvation has been used as a preferred method of genocide, of mass murder throughout human history. It looks like it's going to be used against us. And for that, I would suggest that you really start preparing. Really start preparing. Those of you who, now some of you out there are really tightened up. And most of the really tightened up folks are on Patreon. But there's some of you who haven't made the jump yet, and I want to encourage you. Those of you who really are, well, I'll get back to Patreon in a minute, but I want to finish this thought. Share your thoughts in the comment section for the newer people, because we have so many newer people. And one of the great things about this channel is that it really is a community. It's a community where hopefully you'll come and learn from me. But then also we have many of our subscribers with much to share who have already been successful, are well along the road in preparedness. And from their comments, the newer people can learn a lot. And with your comments, you who are farther down the road can help teach the people who are just getting started. Because preparing for these things can be a daunting task, can't it? Where do I start? Where do I do this? And while I have had some basic videos about this, I tend not to cover the basics as much as other channels who just, come on every day and say, everything's horrible, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, buy food, yeah, do buy food. But, if you've been with me for a while, I tend to try to keep it on a little bit higher level. I don't teach 19 different ways to start a fire. I mean, you want to start a fire, get your Bic lighter, get a bunch of junk, a bunch of leaves and crap, stick it under some wood and light her up. But what if I lose my Bic lighter? Well, then take out your backup Bic lighter. It is much easier, than your flint and steel. I'll tell you a funny story about some people who were trying to start a fire with their flint and steel one time. Not that you should know how to do it. It's just no reason for it. As long as you can, you can carry a dozen big lighters between your pockets and your bags and your jackets and all this. So why make things more difficult than they have to be? So I kind of keep this on a higher level of preparedness. I'm always talking about the importance of positivity, about the importance of taking it to the next level, the importance of thinking things through. Too many people don't think far enough down the road. There are plenty of channels who drum on that basic stuff all the time, so there's no need for me to do it. But you people who are more experienced, feel free to share your thoughts in there, because it does help new people. And for you newer people, be willing to learn the basics and then continue down the road, because that's what's going to ensure your long-term survival, and not just surviving. As I often say, I have no interest in just surviving, which means living in the woods and hoping that I can find a squirrel to gnaw on for my next meal. No, I want to live fairly well, and that takes planning, and it takes time, and it takes determination, and it takes resources, and that's what we're about here. So there is no doubt in my mind that we are under attack. This attack is coming slowly. Do you remember when there were shortages in the grocery stores? I'm starting to see shortages again. The economic collapse is going more slowly than I thought it might, but it's still going. And I think that there may be a plan behind this to keep it slow so that the shock doesn't hit everybody and everybody becomes increasingly comfortable with a lowering of life standards and expectations. So I think that's possible. But anyway, it is, you have to be. Those of you who are tighten up more, stack more, grow more. You have to be the provider of your own food. Okay? You need the stocks to get you through even hard times now, but to get you through until you're able to provide, to grow all of your own food. That should be your final goal and your final destination. Like I say, it can seem daunting to new people, but it's a step at a time. Eating the elephant, a bite at a time. The longest journey begins with a single step, all of that, right? And so if you're just getting started, go at it with a vengeance. Go back and watch a lot of my older videos. There's a lot back there for you to, I don't know how many I put up, 800 or something. There's a lot to learn back there. Go back there and learn and watch some of those. Again, I'm going to say that if you're not with us on Patreon, for instance, today I just put up more about my thoughts on 9mm. This will be a shock to many of you here. There is actually something that has come out that makes me think that a 9mm round, a particular one, should be considered in a self-defense situation. I know that's shocking to many people, but I put it up over there on a couple of them on Patreon. I put up one also about 10mm. I've put up a number of things. A lot goes on Patreon that doesn't get put up on YouTube, and you're going to learn a lot more. And you really need to. Everybody needs to get more serious. And so I invite you. I hope you will. The people who say I can't afford $1 because it's only $1 a month. They'll say, and so I want to address two things that I hear, and it's too bad. It's very sad, but I think people are lying to themselves. I can't afford $1. If you can't afford $1, you're not applying yourself. You're just here for the entertainment, and I'm not really here to entertain. Okay, I'm here to teach. So I'm not concerned with your entertainment. So if you can't afford $1, stop watching any of my videos. Go out and earn a stinking dollar. Okay? Picking up cans, looking for change in the parking lot of your grocery. I don't care. If you can't come up with a couple of bucks by the end of the day, you ain't trying, right? But I'm not talking about the dollar. I'm talking about you're not doing what's best for you in your life. Because if you're that strapped for money, you can't afford $1 a month, watching all the preparedness videos in the world is not going to help you. You're just, it's just like, it's like masturbation, right? You're doing something for no purpose. You think you're getting a thrill and you're not getting it done what you're supposed to be getting done. So stop watching this. Go earn yourself some money. I don't care if you ever come back and watch me or join my Patreon. Make your life better. I mean, if you can't afford $1, your life sucks. Go out and make it better, for crying out loud. Another thing I get is, but I follow a bunch of channels, and if I had to pay $1 for each one to go to their Patreon channel, that'd cost me $20, $30 a month. Well, okay, why do you have to join them all? I mean, if you go to the store, that's a stupid argument. Okay, it's just a ridiculous argument. Let's take this to its final conclusion, like I always say, and having to do with preparedness. If you go to the store and you find a shirt that you like, but it comes in 12 colors, do you have to buy all 12 colors? Or say you go to the store and you find 12 shirts that are different, but you like all 12 of them. Do you have to buy all 12? No, you see, you make decisions in life. So don't hide in that stupid excuse that if I paid, I'd have to pay for all of them. You don't. You have to make a choice. Maybe you want to join mine. Hey, it's $1 a month. Maybe you don't want to join mine and you want to join Joe Fox. Go join him. Join somebody. You're going to get more for your money. And if you're not doing it, you're not serious, because more of the quality material, not just mine, but others, is going to Patreon, because we are sick and tired of the BS that we're having to deal with on YouTube. Okay? The stupid remarks, the stupid comments. And we don't get that at all on Patreon. So whether you join mine or somebody else's, do something to make your, to increase your education. But don't use those stupid excuses, because we know better. We don't believe it. You're the only one. You're lying to yourself, and you're making yourself believe it. So those are the things. I will end up by reminding those of you. And for those of you who said, well, the new people, who the heck is this guy to be spouting off like this? I'm the guy that wrote these books. The Stonemont series, The Reversion, the Revival, the Renewal, and Appeal to Heaven, the Blessings of Freedom, and Hostages to Fortune, the complete plan guide on how to prepare for, how to survive, and how to rebuild after a complete collapse of the world, in a great story of love, hate, violence, building community, all sorts of things. They say that it'll make you laugh, it'll make you cry, it'll make you think. That's what I've heard other people say about them. Since 2017, people have been learning from my books all around the world, and if you haven't read them, you can too. They're available either, I'll put the links down below, either through Amazon in paperback or Kindle, or directly from me through my website, stonemont.us, and I'll put that down there. You can get them directly from me, and there's a way you can put in there, Steve, they'll say, would you like him to autograph it? What message would you put? Steve, would you write to Bob? Would you like, would Uncle Bob, happy birthday, Tulip, whatever you'd like me to. And I'm happy to do it. So these will help you too. I could make YouTube's videos till the day I die, and I'll never be able to cover all the things that I've already covered in here in detail. You can learn, so get those. Whatever you do, increase your preparedness, because I think horrible things are coming. And the only thing that gets you through bad times is your preparation to get through them. So remember that. Remember also that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow, and the quality of your life tomorrow depends entirely on how well you prepare today, so do it. And join us, like I say, over on Patreon. Look forward to seeing you over there. Let me know you're a new person. Everybody will welcome you. Everybody's nice. Everybody's helpful. And you'll like it. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.